What's happening, everybody? The Job Guys back here with you with another review. This time, it's Ryan, it's Nick, here with Extreme Rules. And Nick, you know, about 50% of the time, maybe more, we come on here and we unfortunately have to bash some things. We've done it more times than not. I think the worst we ever bashed anything was the horror show at Extreme Rules. Well, apparently that is just the theme for every Extreme Rules now. It has to be Halloween 10. More science fiction theater here tonight. In this Extreme Rules show, we will get to the finish, which I believe is worse than the swamp match at last year's Extreme Rules that I thought was maybe the worst anything WWE has ever done.
I don't know.
This may top it because it was in the ring. It was not in a swamp. It was in the ring, and they did this. We will get to that. Just your overall thoughts. Those were mine on the night. There was a lot of other bad things as well. Nick, your overall thoughts on the night before we jump into, well, a lot of people not on this show.
So my first thought, where is everybody? Big E wins the title. He's the talk of the town, the talk of the WWE. He's thrown together on the pre-show. He's walking in. Him and New Day get jumped or get into an altercation with AJ Almas and I'm sorry, I forget the third guy that was with him, AJ Almas and Bobby. And they're just thrown together. A match just thrown together. RK Bro, hottest tag team in the WWE. Where are they? They're not even on the show.
Right.
You got Shinsuke Nakamura pushing two gimmicks on the other. Well, I mean, two, I guess, achievements. Yeah. A belt and the crown. Not even on the show. Women's title. You just moved them to the new tag team titles. To a new tag team. I guess you felt that was enough. Not even on the show. No Seth Rollins, no Drew McIntyre. You left a lot off the show for just getting going. That was my initial just thought.
Yeah, well, and I thought about the Big E thing. Here he is. He wins the belt, and he's in the opening match in a six-man tag, and I'm thinking exactly what you did, and I'm thinking more like, this is my problem with the Money in the Bank. Well, they just threw him in a six-man tag because he came from the other show. He wasn't even on Raw.
Right.
And this is my problem with the Money in the Bank. First of all, it's kind of jumped the shark here. We've seen it. We've been there. We've done that. Are we still doing this?
Excellent question.
Whatever. He comes from the other show. So he doesn't really have a feud. They're starting it with Lashley. But this is like the Attitude Era now. The pay-per-views now set up Raw and SmackDown because ratings are more important nowadays. We're getting $1 billion from Fox. We're getting $1 billion from USA. AEW has shown up, and we need ratings now. So now they use this pay-per-view to set up the rematch, which is going to be on Raw tomorrow night between Lashley and it. But I didn't think about those other guys. Yeah, all hot acts, but there's not enough time for everything, you know? And I'm also not a guy that wants 4 world title matches per pay-per-view, which we would have had Big E fought, counting the women. But you're absolutely right. And then the rest, Nick, I know with the rest of the show, you are not happy with the way the rest of this show went.
That was awful.
And I want to start, as we do a lot of times, I think the thing everybody's going to be talking about are the last 2 matches, the Women's World title and the SmackDown title, Universal Championship. So let's start right there. At the end, Roman Reigns taking on the Demon. Not, Finn Balor. He's facing the Demon, who has never been beaten on the main roster as the Demon. I immediately thought, Roman's coming out first? Why? So the Demon can do his awesome entrance? Or was he just late getting back from Spirit Halloween? Like he had to go buy his tassels and those spikes that were coming out of his head. He was late getting back. He couldn't get back in time to let the champ come out second. Like, what are we doing here? I mean, this is so bad. I don't understand how anybody on earth thinks this is cool at all. I don't understand. And this is before we even get to the finish, Nick. Just looking at this guy, nothing says evil like a bunch of Ultimate Warrior tassels hanging from your arms. You know, like what says evil like finger paint all over your body? Like, man, that's scary. Holy cow. He went and spent $350 at Spirit Halloween. I'm freaked out now.
Right.
I mean, that's what makes one evil and possessed, as they said. And he wrote Balor on the back of his body.
What's your name? I don't care. Shut your mouth.
I don't know. Right?
Does Satan, do you think Satan has Lucifer written on the back? Did he paint that on the back?
In case people forget who he is. Yeah.
Like, just in case you forgot. I'm really Lucifer, like I was Finn Balor. But, yeah, what? What are we... How does anyone think that's cool?
There's no turds here.
And I didn't even realize, so you said right there, it was a small risk. Roman has always been, you're on my time. You wait for me. So you switch this for Finn Balor? Like, I'm not saying Finn's terrible or anything. The guy can work.
I am.
The guy's,
I
the
am.
demon thing is, but that right off the bat. The other thing we've always said, if the demon is so awesome, why doesn't he use it all the time? I don't understand.
When he really cares.
Right.
So he doesn't care about the other matches.
If you were a baseball player, you had a bat that you hit a home run with, every time you use that bat.
Roy Hobbs in The Natural.
Yeah, why would you not use that bat? Like, I don't understand. It just. Those
are my lucky tassels. I got to wear them tonight.
Saving it for a rainy day, I guess. I don't know, man. And the match, it wasn't a good match. I don't, to be honest with you, I think the guy wrestles worse as the demon. Like, his matches are worse as this stupid demon character. Dude, the heart pumping, we were hearing that through the audio. Well, this was just awful.
Do you just want to jump right to that?
I don't care where you start.
I didn't think the match was that bad, Nick. I mean, there were some cool spots and whatever. I wasn't like wowed by it, but I thought the match was actually okay. But I just can't get over this guy's gimmick as it is. I'm like, people think Wrath and Mortis and Glacier were terrible in WCW, but this is cool. Yeah. And that's before what even happened, Nick. And go ahead and mention it. He gets speared through the wall by Roman. Roman's kind of laid out too, and I can't even remember why.
After a double Uso kick, too, to the head, right?
Yeah.
The Usos double kicked him to the head.
So he's down, Nick, and continue from there.
And then all of a sudden, we get to hear over the loudspeaker the heartbeat of the demon. What? As he gets back into it and becomes just unstoppable. You can't harm him. You can't bring pain to this man. He is now invincible. Unless...
Don't undersell this now. Do not undersell this if people did not see this. Not only did we hear a heartbeat, when we heard a heartbeat, red flashing lights went through the arena. And as the heart pumped, he's laying face down and he starts flopping around like a beached whale or a goldfish when it jumps out of its bowl.
His heart was getting going.
He's going.
Yeah, his heart was good.
And you think I look stupid? Imagine being painted like that, laying on a wrestling mat.
Look at you, giant idiot.
This is what he's doing on the ground as the heart is pumping.
Yep.
Fucking thing sucks.
What?
And no one could hurt him. And then you couldn't hurt him.
He jumped up. Bigger. Yep. He didn't, Hulk. It took a minute to Hulk up. No, he just jumps up.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Hulk Hogan hulking up is stupid.
It's stupid.
Though, right?
Yeah.
That's
so dumb.
stupid. I never remembered Hulk Hogan's music playing as he hulked up to it. Like, and then he got in the ring. You couldn't hurt him. But here's what can hurt him: a 4-foot fall from the top rope. Like, he can't be hurt by chairs, by kendo sticks, by spears, through a wall. He can't. Nothing can touch this guy. But the ropes malfunction and he falls 3 or 4 feet, and then he just stares at his leg. Did you notice that? For like, it felt like a long time. Like maybe it was 30, 45 seconds, just like sitting there waiting for Roman to get up. This was awful. This was so bad.
He went up for the coup de grace.
Yep.
He stands there, and then you hear a loud bang.
Bang.
The top rope breaks, because apparently in WWE, those ropes, they only hold 137 pounds. So he fell down 4 feet. Roman gets up, spears him. That's the match. And Nick, the commentators are flabbergasted by the rope breaking. Oh my gosh, the rope broke. I've never seen anything like this, even though that's happened like 1,000 times. I've never seen anything like this. This is amazing. What just happened here? Because the rope broke. They weren't flabbergasted at all by the heartbeat humping throughout Columbus, Ohio, and the flashing lights and the gold flipping around. They weren't. No, that's perfectly normal. But a rope breaking.
I would compare it to a Springsteen concert.
Oh my gosh.
Over or under that WWE has an actual story behind the rope break?
Well, yeah, maybe they.
Did someone do this? Is someone with Roman? Because the Usos were both out there laid out. Paul Heyman was in plain sight.
Well, Bray Wyatt always had like a light and graphics guy, and Finn apparently has a heartbeat guy in the back who's hitting the button for him. Roman must have a rope guy.
A rope dynamite guy.
Yeah, he's got a rope.
Ropes. Yeah.
A member of the bloodline, I guess. Maybe it's Jay's wife or Jimmy, whichever one's married.
Maybe Naomi is getting into this. I don't know.
Yeah, rope girl. I don't know. And you wonder, though, dude, first of all, I already thought this was terrible. Just when you think it can't get worse, this is the finish. And you wonder why. And I'm not, flag bearer for AEW, but you wonder why everybody's jumping ship on them.
You sure, Ryan?
I mean, anybody over the age of 6 that saw this today is out.
I was going to say they are dead on, whoever you quoted, of saying that WWE is for kids, AEW is for nerds. And I'm not trying to offend anybody in either category. That's who they seem to both be marking at, and shooting for. This was a highly marked at kids program, like of just crazy, weird stuff that happened on this whole show, man.
I don't understand, though. And it must just be because Finn is like old leader of the Bullet Club, so they like him. And he did do this gimmick back in the day. People like this guy. And I don't know how, especially after tonight, but I don't know how you can, coming into the night, a 40-year-old can look at that and think that's cool. It's not. Without the finish, it's not. And even Pat McAfee on commentary, by the way, killing my Lions all night tonight. The Justin Tucker blast left and right. And then at the end, making fun of the owner getting booed out of the building today. Not that I blame people, but whatever. He had the line of the night, man. I mean, it's an all-timer. When Finn's taking off all his tassels and his stupid Sheamus mohawk and all that, he pulled whatever he had around his waist off, and he goes, and the demon removes his kilt. He didn't know either. He's like, but I'm getting paid to sit here. So,
sure.
Well, oh, yeah, it was hilarious. Just butchering this. This is as bad because it was in the ring. It's worse than the swamp match to me. At least that was it. No, that's worse. But you knew what you were getting. That wasn't a match. Like this was supposed to be a match with Roman Reigns.
The ending with the ropes was as bad as the bomb going off in AEW. I mean, it was maybe not quite as bad as the bomb, but it was not cool. This and again, you're gonna lose people because right now I don't know that AEW, and again, I'm not trying to mark out for it or anything like that. I don't know that they're putting on the greatest shows, but their shows certainly have more interest right now. There's certainly more intrigue about what's going to happen. What am I going to see on that show?
Right.
I'm not saying the stories and the angles are dry or lights out right now, but man, this match did not help the intrigue. Like, I am not like, can't wait for Friday on SmackDown to see if Balor's okay from that 4-foot fall. You know, I mean,
could have ruptured an Achilles.
Yeah, I know. I mean, especially after he was speared through a freaking wall and double kicked to the head.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, forget about the concussion. Let's look at his ankle. You know, I tell you who it doesn't help. Roman Reigns. You have one person. You have two shows, right? 2 shows, 5 hours of TV, and now whatever this new crap is on Tuesday. You have one guy who even the biggest hater for the past 7-8 years can go, all right, he's kind of cool, or at least I understand why people like him. You book him in crap like this, where he already had a coup de grace that he didn't kick out of. His cousins pulled him out and beat up Balor. Now he was about to win, but the rope guy snapped the rope, and he's in this crazy, stupid science fiction junk. He does not need to be around this.
No.
He looks stupid.
Yep, this match did not help him at all. I would assume that they may need to rematch this before Crown Jewel on SmackDown and just give him a clean win over Balor. Again, I know he's already beat Balor, I guess, on the show, but if anything,
what would be the point?
I don't know either. If anything, he needs to beat Lesnar clean now at Crown Jewel, because this one, it looked like he escaped. I mean, he's beat everyone on your roster from, you know, the big names that all the way down, you know, Cesaro. They just threw him in there for a while back. And now he barely, I mean, to the untrained eye just watching, he wasn't winning this match without the Usos and without the rope interference. I mean, this did not make Roman look strong at all, especially you're rounding the corner right now. I don't want to say WrestleMania's right here because we still got a ways to go.
Yeah.
But, you know, you're rounding the corner. You want to keep this guy strong, hopefully, for the Rock Roman at WrestleMania. This did not help. And it was real cheesy and corny, and you put him in there with it.
I thought the reason they made him the Demon was because he knocked off Cena. He knocked off Edge. He knocked off Bryan. He knocked off Edge and Bryan at the same time. Now he's going to knock off Lesnar. Okay, who's undefeated? The Demon is in upstairs, not in NXT, but on the main roster, he's undefeated. Okay, let's have him knock him off. This couldn't have been worse, dude. Couldn't have been worse at all.
It sucked. It stunk.
They seem to be getting away from the Demon, too, you know, using him less on the main roster. I don't know why you were protecting this. I have heard even things like Vince does not even big on the Demon. This would have been one time to just let Roman beat this Demon.
Right.
It goes away. Let's turn Finn Balor back into normal Chippendale Finn Balor, and you know, and we'll move on from there.
Oh. Yeah, we will move on from there.
Yeah.
Let's go to the match right before this, women's title. Becky is the champ. She turned heel at SummerSlam, stole the belt from Bianca. So here we go. This is the match we should have gotten at SummerSlam, an actual match. Quickly, the whole Becky thing, man, I still can't get over the fact that what they did with this girl. You know, when I first saw it that night, I did not think it was a heel turn. I thought it could turn into one because I thought people would turn on her, but apparently she was supposed to be a heel. And her star power wasn't the same from WrestleMania 35 to 36 right before she left. It did go down a little bit, but she was still massively over. But this just, you hear people still cheer for her out there. The let's go Becky, EST, let's go back. There are still people there, but I think people are confused. Is she a heel? They're not really sure. And I guess the last week or two, she definitely has been, but they buried this girl with this heel turn. She's just another girl now. And anyway, get into the match. Nick, go ahead. Tell us what happened and then what you thought of the finish in this one.
I thought confused is a good word for you that you used there. Because I think there's they like Becky, but they're sitting there going, "But I'm supposed to boo her." So she's doing things I don't like. I know the story is leaning me toward booing her, but I don't want to. Yeah. I like her,
right?
You know, and I think that, and that's a problem. They've booked themselves into a bad situation here. Thought the crowd was hot for this match. You did have people on both sides. They were. I thought this was night. I thought this was the most intriguing match on the card of the night. Mm-hmm. The one you were looking at, that what are they going to do here?
Yep.
You know, how are they getting out of this? And I'm glad they didn't waste it. I love the counter at the end of the disarmor into the KOD that she picked her up. I thought that was great. Save that. That's got to be a finish down the road if these two meet. That
showing
was really,
the strength of Bianca over and over and over.
Awesome. You know, and I get that Sasha, you know, they wanted to save it because they kind of, you know, Becky can't get pinned right now and move the belt off her, but we can't let Bianca get pinned either because we were pushing her. And if Becky beats her twice in a row, tick, 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 she's way down the ladder now. Mm-hmm. She falls. I don't know. I hope they explain why Sasha does this. Like, what was the purpose of coming down there and stopping Bianca from winning? Because she beat Sasha, I guess. Right. But then she jumps Becky.
But then
there's just a lot to unfold there at the end that really confused me. Why wouldn't she want Bianca to get the belt back, to take it back from Bianca if Bianca beat her in the first place?
Exactly.
They've got a lot to unfold here on SmackDown. I think they were just like, how do we get out of this match? We don't know what to do with Sasha. Have her run down and interfere the match, and we'll figure this out Friday afternoon before SmackDown.
Right. Or Friday night, 5 minutes before.
That's my guess on what they were doing here. The match itself, I thought, was a good match between the two. Both women I like both women a lot. I think both women are great. But again, just a very confusing ending. I guess you saved both people if you want to give it that.
Do you, though? Because I
don't know.
Confusing is the word of the day for me. And I know the Sasha thing, if that's what happened with COVID and she won't get the vaccine and all this, if that is what happened, they were kind of dealt a wonky hand there at SummerSlam. And at the last minute, they brought Becky in, which she says, yes, they did call me last minute and I showed up. I was ready to go. We were just waiting for the right time. But you said it. She comes in. She cost Bianca the match. The place boos massively. And Sasha is another girl who has been a heel, and she's a much better heel. Oh, yes. But there are people that also like her. They'll cheer her no matter what. Well, they boo loud here. And this crowd was hot all night. But then she goes and beats up Becky. Then they don't know what to do because she just beat up the heel too. And so now you got a bunch of tweeners out here. That's all you got is a bunch of tweeners. And then Bianca is a straight baby face, but now people are all confused. They're going to be confused about her now too. So now you're three top girls in your entire company. And yeah, they are better than Charlotte, the three of these. They're more over than Charlotte, the three of these. Now no one knows what to do with any of them. I thought it was a disaster, dude. The last thing I didn't write disaster. I wrote, this is crap. It was a disaster finish again.
Are we just expecting a triple threat for the next pay-per-view?
I mean, maybe. But, dude, look at this. Coming into SummerSlam and definitely at Mania, Bianca's over, man. She was over. And she was starting to get better on the mic and cutting some really nice
She
promos.
won an ESPY. You put her on the dang ESPY thing, and you put her out there, man. She was getting over. Now, again, I'm not saying she was, Sable and, late 90s, but, she's definitely – she's way better worker. I just meant popularity-wise. Yeah. But she was getting there, and you freaking pulled the rug out from under her.
Yes.
At SummerSlam, went this way. And now you confuse the hell out of everybody again at the end of this match.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm guessing they just throwing Sasha in this as a way to get Becky away from Bianca.
I mean, maybe Bianca pins Sasha in a triple threat and she wins the belt back, and then Becky can say, you never beat me. But
I don't
know.
Either that or Becky pins Sasha. I feel like Sasha's the fall girl in this situation, maybe.
Could be.
She's the one whose career can take she's over enough where she can get pinned by one of these two and still be okay.
Yeah. But she's not what she was. I mean, they ruined not only Bianca's elevation, they ruined maybe their most over person or one of in the entire company. It's over. It's done. That day is gone, man. People wanted to see a good return, and they got about as bad as anything.
In my opinion, that sucked.
Bad, man. Just bad. Let's go back to the very beginning of the show. We talked about it already. The 6-man tag starts this show. It's the New Day against almost Lashley and AJ. And Big E gets the win here, pinning Lashley again. And Lashley has now been pinned a million times in the past couple of weeks. And I just wrote, okay, is Lashley done now? Is his time up top now done? He did cut a promo later and called out, as we mentioned, for tomorrow night. They're going to fight to kick off Raw. But, this match in general, what do you think?
It was a fine 6-man tag. I thought, they did everything they could to, it worked everybody's strengths. I didn't have a problem with the match itself. I had a problem with Lashley losing again. I mean, this guy, I don't know why this match had to take place.
Right.
I don't know why Lashley was the fall guy. I mean, I love AJ, but freaking pin AJ, pin freaking Xavier, don't pin Bobby Lashley. But I don't know, does he I feel like he's got to win the belt back tomorrow. I feel because I don't know how you get out of this with Lashley loses tomorrow, dude. That is, I mean, how many?
He's Drew McIntyre then, or worse.
He's probably lost if he loses tomorrow. Counting getting pinned in tag matches over the summer, he's probably lost 5 or 6 matches since the summer started.
Yep.
As I mean, this is. And they had he was, remember he had that IC title and we were turning the corner to head. He was one of the hottest things in the land this time last year, man. He was murdering people, everybody, and I was so over, and I still love this guy. But I'm hoping tomorrow night, fingers crossed, Kofi Kingston turns on Big E, and maybe helps Bobby Lashley win the title or something. Because again, I just didn't think Big E was ready for it. I like Big E. Yeah. I think he has the potential to be a main eventer. But I didn't think he was ready. And I think a loss here, even a DQ loss or Bobby Lashley leaving Monday night without the title and just going on to another feud, he's just going to become Drew McIntyre. He's just going to become a dude.
Or worse.
Yeah.
Or worse. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't see him doing that, though, because then if you take the belt right off E, what's he doing?
The only way I could say the heat would be there with Kofi. if Kofi was the one that did it, and maybe Kofi murdered him, and maybe we could shelf E for a month or so, and he comes back at Survivor Series or something like that. I'm just thinking out loud. I doubt they're going to do this. No. I highly doubt they're going to do this. I'm just so. I love Bobby Lashley, dude. I really think they have this guy is great, and I think he works great with MVP. I like him as his voice for him. I don't want to see MVP wrestle ever again. I think we're past that time. But MVP can make a living off a manager.
Yeah,
he's great on the mic. I don't know. I guess we wait until tomorrow. Fingers crossed. For me, Bobby Lashley gets it back. Kofi costs Big E the title, and we set up maybe running down the future toward a Kofi Big E feud.
I wouldn't mind that, but a million to one shot, Doc. Million to one. Usos taking on the Street Profits for the tag team titles. Usos get the win. Nick, thoughts on this match?
I'll be short and sweet. I think it was one of the better matches of the night. Good tag team match. I love the build going into it. With Montez Ford getting beat up by the Bloodline on SmackDown. Yep. I thought that was a great go home toward that tag match. But the ending was predictable. The Usos had one upped. I'm sorry, the Street Profits had one. I think they got a pin over the Usos in a non-title match a couple weeks ago.
Which is what they do all the time now. Yeah.
And then they were going to beat them again for the titles the next week until Roman interfered in a match and had saved them.
Yep.
So they had kind of got the one. They had tried to do their 50-50 booking here and let the Street Profits beat the Usos, or look like they were going to beat the Usos a couple times. And I figured the Usos would win this. It was a good match, but predictable.
Yeah, I don't think, even though we told you about who knows what the heck they did with Roman today, he is still the champ, and that bloodline needs to stay strong here. So they keep the belts in that one. Lashley then cut his promo, calls out Big E, swearing now. This is making some people excited. Calls him chicken bleep and all this because, that makes wrestling better, I guess. Forget writing storylines. Let's just swear a bunch, and it'll be way better. MVP was nowhere in sight when he cut this promo, by the way.
Was he there tonight?
I don't remember if he was there during the match or not.
Him.
And Lashley has kind of been hanging by himself the last week or so. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe MVP's hurt or sick or something's going on. Not sure. No idea. Girls. Here we go again.
Jesus.
I'm totally embarrassed and totally ashamed.
When you don't know if it can get any worse. I was actually intrigued. Alexa against Charlotte, girls title match on Raw. I was actually slightly intrigued by this, Nick, because of Monday, because they kind of cut a worked shoot promo on each other. So I was like, maybe they're going to get rid of Alexa's gimmick here and make her back to normal. So I was a little excited here. Anyway, this match ends like Lily gets thrown at Alexa, and then natural selection, 1, 2, 3, it's over with. Nick, take it from there.
I thought the same thing as you when she did that. Again, the match has the doll involved. It's really terrible. I was hoping the same thing. Alexa's freaking out at the end. I thought she was kind of ripping the colors out of her hair there, and I was like, it's coming to an end. She's going to say no more. And she's just going to go back to being the princess or the stuck-up girl.
Little Miss Bliss.
Yeah, come on. And nope, sure as hell, she picks up the stuffing, drops it, picks it up, drops it, freaks out over the doll.
Yeah, Charlotte ripped the doll apart after the match, tore it to shreds.
This cannot get worse for this girl. And she didn't win the belt. I don't know if we're going to see this. It looks as if there's going to be a rematch now, probably between these two, because this, I don't know how they don't give the belt to Alexa, though, at this point. I mean, because what are you going to do with this gimmick? I thought for sure she was going to win. This was the one match that I did think she was going to take the belt, because otherwise, what do? She made it all the way up to the top. She fights the champ with this gimmick. She doesn't win. And then what do you do with this gimmick now?
Get rid of it.
That's what I'm hoping. Yeah, I'm with you, but I don't know that they are.
Dude, this was already bad.
Oh.
And Charlotte rips up the doll. Alexa's knocked out. She gets up and she sees the doll in like the most amount of stuffing in a little doll. I didn't even know that was possible. How much is it? It was like George the Animal Steel's turnbuckle. How did you get all that in there?
Average carpentry skills.
She freaks out, screaming and all this, and it just keeps going and going and going. Then she crawls up the ramp. I'm like, all right, it's finally going to be over. No, like people win world titles at WrestleMania, and they're like, we got to go. You're like, this goes for 5 minutes. I'm like, how long is this going to go?
Oh.
I mean, and I know it's her best friend, but she's way more upset about this than losing the world title match. Then was I seeing things here? At the very end, she's sitting at the top of the ramp. Was she so upset that she was foaming at the mouth? Is that what I saw? And did I see, to make her foam at the mouth, it looked like she had like an Alka-Seltzer on her tongue. There was just this big glob of like, looked like a pill to make foam.
If you're gonna spew into this.
Like, did you have an Alka-Seltzer on? What are we doing?
I don't know how Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, was bad enough that they released the guy. And I'm not, this is not a pro or an anti, but what WWE saw, this is what I don't understand, what the creative is seeing or what Vince is seeing. He was so bad that they released the guy. But we're going to keep going with the same gimmick on a female wrestler. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand.
Well, and is it even the same, though? Like, I know they've had the doll, like, wink at people and, like, move the swing to knock Eva over or anything, but
right.
She really doesn't do anything evil either. She might as well write Bliss on her back like Balor did, like to show everybody how evil she is.
She's kind of a face.
Do anything.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing. When they were at the Thunderdome, they were pumping in cheers. Like, I don't understand again how anybody thinks this is good. I don't know how you could possibly think this is good. And this is coming from two guys who have been on the Alexa Bliss bandwagon from the word go. And it's a complete waste of talent for the 1,000th time. She's the best talker. She's right there with Britt Baker. I'd love to see those two have a shoot against each other. The two best female talkers in the business as far as I'm concerned. And they got her doing this crap.
Yep.
Just a complete waste.
And I think the longer this goes, the harder it's going to be to bring her back too.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, she's going to have this ingrained in her. I mean, because we're already at probably around the year mark, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
We got to be coming up for about a year on this gimmick. At least maybe we're almost there.
It was the swamp match where she appeared in the clouds or whatever she did.
So I mean,
maybe that does make it worse. I don't, because it ruined Alexa.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think she's awesome. I mean, she should be in your top echelon of female wrestlers on the card, and she's got an unwatchable gimmick. It just instant fast forward or channel changer.
Yeah, well, as our boy Brock and you always say, if my wife walks downstairs and this is on, she might divorce me. And in fact, he didn't even watch tonight. I text him after the finish and I go, please tell me you watched that, because I hadn't heard from him. He goes, I didn't watch a lick of it. And he hasn't watched Raw in like 3 weeks. And this is a guy who absolutely hated AEW until about a month, 6 weeks ago. Hated AEW. The guys are too little. The guys can't talk. The guys have dumb gimmicks. They weigh 12 pounds. Now, all of a sudden, he only watches on Wednesdays. This is why. This
show has not changed. This Raw and SmackDown have been the same thing. There's no, that's what I'm saying. I don't think AEW is that much better of a written show of like angles and stories. But I'll be damned. The interest though, who's going to show up? What are they going to do? Why are they here? Those things, are, and you've got these new guys that show up like Punk. Well, we haven't seen him fight all these guys. Bryan Danielson, we haven't seen him fight all these guys. So you've got a lot of intrigue. I won't lie. If you had to, gun to my head, what do I look forward to for this week? Raw, SmackDown, or Dynamite? I'm probably going to say Dynamite right now.
Yeah.
Because I just, again, the interest, like what's going to happen on Dynamite.
Right.
I feel the Raw, especially Raw, it's the same show week to week, and it's just worse and worse.
It keeps getting worse and worse. Absolutely. I mean, I've said forever, there's one guy I'm interested in right now, and if he's fighting Rope Boy, I don't care. I don't. I don't want to see that guy at all. So if I don't care how much I like Roman, he's my favorite guy in the entire business, has been for over a year now. If he's fighting him, forget it. I don't want to see it. All right, Paul Heyman then cuts a promo. He doesn't cut a promo. He's on the phone. They're continuing this in the back where he's on the phone. We don't know who he's on the phone with. We assume it's Brock Lesnar. And here comes Kayla. Hello, sir. Who are you talking to? And he's like, oh, you probably think I'm talking to Brock. Or you probably think I'm talking to whatever. He yells at her. That's the end of that. Last match that we have not talked about yet, the U.S. title match. Three-way, Sheamus, Jeff Hardy, Damian Priest. And it is Priest taking out Sheamus, and he keeps his belt. Nicholas.
Zero interest in this match. I just, again, I don't hate
any.
I'm not a big Sheamus guy, but I certainly think there's a place for him in wrestling. The guy can definitely work. He can definitely talk. I was a fan of the Bar. I think Jeff Hardy, I don't think he's anywhere near what he used to be, but still could be used, especially to get younger talent over. Damian Priest, this guy is just stagnant, man. Like, I don't either. Like, what am I don't hate him. Like, he's got a look, he can wrestle a little bit in the ring and everything, but what is he? What does he do? He's some sort of mythical archer that shoots at the Titantron. Like, I don't. What does he do? I mean, he's just a dude that won the belt.
Right.
He's not getting over. And
I don't think so.
They try to make him. I don't know if it fits him. Like he's been out there with the Miz a lot, and he does it with Sheamus, where he's kind of trying to be funny and take jabs at people. It's not working for me. Yeah. I don't know what you do with this guy, but he's not moving in any direction. He's just the word stagnant comes to mind when I think of this guy. He's the same dude I thought he was before WrestleMania. He's
just kind of there.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't love him, I don't hate him, I don't care.
Right.
He just cuts promos. I don't know what his gimmick is. Apparently he was like some kind of bar guy or something. In NXT, He would hang out in whirlpools with chicks. Okay, but where is that? Yeah, where is that?
Do that.
He doesn't do anything here. And you mentioned it. He's been in some bad feuds, too. Mm-hmm. He had Bad Bunny with him the first time, but that was against The Miz and Morrison. Who cares? And, since then, he's been doing his thing here with Sheamus. So it's just kind of like,
Seems like both of them have drug on for a long. Like, he fought The Miz and Morrison for an insanely long time, and now looking back at it, it seems like he's been fighting Sheamus for a while. Maybe I'm wrong, for a while. And that's the only two feuds I can think of that this guy's been in since like February.
Well, and think about this too. I think we mentioned this when it happened. Going back to what happened to Roman tonight, getting put in this garbage Toyland crap. Look what happened to Damian Priest. You bring him in, he's immediately upstaged by his tag team partner, Bad Bunny. He's the huge star.
Right.
You were hoping this guy would get the rub from Bad Bunny, but he wrestled so well, no one cared. It was like he was invisible. Then at the next show, he fights in that zombie match. So you're immediately like, no thanks. Right. I don't even care whose idea this was. Everybody in this sucks. And that's what I'm worried about with Roman here. I mean, I'm just kind of indifferent to the guy.
Me too. Yep.
And he's your U.S. champ. So, I mean, Vince likes the guy. I mean, put the strap on him, like, immediately. So, yeah, Nick, quickly. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't hate him. I don't know anything about him. I just don't feel like he's just a dude.
No connection at all. So, obvious thumbs down show.
Thumbs down.
Out of 10, where would you put this one?
A 2, a 3, somewhere in there. I mean, it was bad. I mean, probably a 2. I've never even been. I don't like having Extreme Rules and TLC, like especially so close to each other.
Hell in a Cell and Money in the Bank,
they're
and
the same thing. You know, especially these
Chamber.
Hell in a Cell, TLC, and Extreme Rules could just be this pay-per-view.
And they're all going to be in the fall. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, no. And the big names, a lot of them weren't here. I don't know. I mean, you're feeling kind of confident with AEW knocking at your back door here by leaving all these guys off this card and putting, you know, I mean, really no Drew McIntyre, but you want Jeff Hardy. I mean, I don't know. It wasn't a great pay-per-view. It seems like we're just, I mean, are we just biding time toward Crown Jewel? But even then, Crown Jewel, I mean, those usually just like a supercharged house show?
Pretty much.
Like not a lot happens, you know. So I don't know.
Here and there, we have had title changes there, but not usually. But again, I'm gonna say these pay-per-views are shorter now. They're not 4-hour shows anymore.
Thank God.
So that's part of the reason. So you can't have as many matches, and also, I think they're saving a lot more stuff for TV now.
You're right.
Because of the ratings and whatnot. Do you have anything finally before we go on where anybody might go? Like anything that you saw here, other than what we already talked about? Is there anything you're like, what's going to happen here? This might set up that, whatever.
No, I'm just worried about the bloodline with competitors. I mean, the Usos Street Profits, I actually like that feud. I like both those tag teams, but
yeah, me too.
I'm wondering, who do these guys fight?
Right.
Where do the
other tag teams?
I mean, Roman has Lesnar. So you've got till the Crown Jewel, but what do you do from Crown Jewel to WrestleMania? You know, there's a lot of what ifs. I mean, what is Big E and Bobby Lashley Monday night? I feel one of them is going to take a setback.
We got a draft coming too. Don't forget that. We do have a draft early October.
That's true. I mean, maybe they're going to move some people, but I'm worried that they're really getting into a stall moment here, and there's not a lot. There's just they're going to lose the interest war right now with people. I mean, there's just not a lot. Roman Reigns is your guy, but he's just been doing the same thing for over a year now. I love him. I still think he's the best thing in wrestling today. But man, WrestleMania is not till April. What are we going to do with this dude? You know,
apparently The Rock, the rumor was a few months ago, as we have said, Survivor Series. He shows up, that sets up whatever.
Okay, well,
you know, then you still have 4.5, 5 months. So
right. So
we'll see what they do.
I think we're in a what if time for the WWE. I mean, or like what's going on? Where are you going? What are you gonna do? I mean, is Big E going to ride this thing into WrestleMania? Is he big enough to main event a WrestleMania? You know, I mean. Well,
yeah, I think that's your Survivor Series main event. Roman and Big E, if they do the whole, what they have, title for title, or a title against title.
Then they got to find some way to get Big E out of that match without a clean. And that's going to be another one. Roman's not going to win clean, right? You wouldn't think. Big E, I mean, they going to let him beat Big E?
I'm not sure. I mean, Lesnar killed everybody, whoever he fought all the time. Last year, it was Drew against Roman.
Wasn't
Roman
there something
cheated.
in that?
Yeah, I forget if the
something in that
Usos or what it was. But yes, there was.
I think
interference.
Maybe Heyman distracted him or something. I can't remember. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know what they're doing here. I really don't.
We will see. Thanks, everybody, once again, for being here with the Job Guys. Let us know your thoughts on any of the matches. Sorry to crap on it tonight, but this is bad, man. I mean, what are we going to come out here and lie? It was bad.
No.
And let us know if you did like it. I would be interested to see why. Give us your thoughts maybe on the future as well. So, Nick, I know you got to hit the hay. I do as well, and we'll get this up for everybody in the morning. Hope you enjoy Raw. At least the beginning's going to be interesting right out of the gate, going with the world title match before Monday Night Football starts. So, guys, appreciate it. Nick, thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
See ya.
Have a good one.
Pleasure's all yours, Bucky boys.